Hey everyone, so I thought I would do the 50 random facts about myself so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. This was kind of hard, just thinking of 50 things that were kind of interesting. And also, I guess I've always been a little bit hesitant putting like a lot of stuff out there. I think I'm kind of paranoid. So anyways, it's kind of hard thinking of 50 things. Some things you might know, some things you might not know. So let's get started. I am 5'10", which is really tall for an Asian girl. My whole family's pretty tall. Me and my sister are the same height, although her legs are a little bit longer than mine. And my parents have shrunk, but my dad was like 6 feet and my mom's probably about 5'7", 5'8". I am Canadian. I was born in Edmonton, Alberta and moved to Vancouver, British Columbia when I was 10 years old. And then I moved to the United States when I was 21. I can move my eyes independently of each other and my daughter thinks that it's the coolest thing. I can cross one eye and I can cross both. When I was young, I think I had kind of a wandering eye too, so I'm always scared to like cross my eyes too long because I'm scared they're gonna get stuck that way. When I was younger, I was more left-handed than right-handed, but I think my parents thought it would be easier for me to be right-handed, so I got trained to be right-handed. So I think that's why I am better at doing things with my left hand than most right-handed people are. I'm not fully ambidextrous, but I am, I would say, kind of like, I mean, I can write, it's not as nice as my right hand, but like painting my nails and doing stuff with my left hand isn't very hard. My feet are almost a full size different, so like one foot's like a size 8 and one foot's like a size 9. My husband is actually a pastor of a church. We started and planted a church together 2 weeks after we got married, and we have been doing that ever since. I have no allergies. There are things that I feel like I'm starting to get sensitive to as I get older, like dust and cigarette smoke and stuff like that, but I don't have any known allergies. I don't own one pair of shorts. I have never worn shorts besides like when I was like a little kid. As a grown person, like even through high school, I never ever wore shorts. I have really bad teeth. They're very soft. I don't have strong bones. So after my first daughter, I actually got 10 root canals and 4 teeth pulled out. I am almost legally blind. My left eye is a -8.5 and my right eye is a 6, so if I don't have contacts or glasses on, I can't see past my nose basically. So with that, I've been wearing contact lenses for 20 years. Isn't that crazy? I told someone that the other day. I'm like, oh my goodness, that makes me feel so old. We have a dog and he is a boxer. I am naturally not hairy, as most Asians aren't very hairy. So it's funny because I cannot really even see hair on my legs ever, but I shave my legs just because I feel like that's what women are supposed to do. And I guess kind of going with that not hairiness, I have never gotten my eyebrows waxed or threaded or anything professionally before. I went to Korean school growing up my whole life, so I can speak, read, and write Korean fluently. I also grew up with my grandma, so Korean was kind of my first language. Me and my sister learned most of our English watching Sesame Street. I love writing, like not like writing stories or poems, the actual act of like writing with a pen. I really like penmanship, which is really weird, but I really do really enjoy writing letters. So I actually write a lot of snail mail still every week to my friends that live far away, and I love stationery too, so it's kind of like a win-win. By trade, I am a designer. I went to design school and I learned graphic design, interior design, and special events and prop making. Me and my sister were kind of on our own since I was like 13 and she was 15, and so we started working pretty early on and always worked. We like worked full-time and went school full-time. All of our college life too, so I've had a ton of jobs, so some of those will probably be some of my random facts. I had super bad eczema when I was young, that like I could not even open my arms or my legs because this part would be so raw from being scratched that like when I opened it, it would crack and bleed. And I just got like healed. Like my skin is so much better. I still have super sensitive skin, but not nearly as bad as it used to be, and luckily I didn't get any scarring either. I have really small ears, and it's actually one of my favorite, I guess, body parts features. I have pretty small, kind of like, I call them delicate ears. Me and my sister both have pretty small ears. So because the lobe part of it is pretty small, I only have one hole on the bottom. I have a hole up here on the other side. But yeah, I never got a double piercing just because I felt like my ear was so little. Even though I am 5'10" and I feel like it's such a waste, I am not athletic whatsoever at all. I really wish I was. If I could be anything, I would like be in Cirque du Soleil. That's always been a dream of mine, or on Broadway. I love pickled ginger. I think it just kind of started when I started eating sushi, but anytime I go eat sushi, I have to ask for extra ginger like 10 times. I was told several times by several different doctors that I couldn't have kids. So that was kind of like I thought it might be a deal breaker when me and my husband wanted to get married. So anyways, yeah, of course, like he was like, it doesn't matter, we'll find a way. Miracles do happen because I am pregnant with number 4. The last place I ever wanted to live in the entire world was LA. And that's near where I live. This year I taught studio art at a college. I am not fine art trained, but I taught studio art. I am flat-footed. I have no arch whatsoever in my feet, so they just flop around. They're very narrow too. So yeah, I'm flat-footed. So I have alopecia, which is an autoimmune disorder. Basically what happens is your hair goes to the dead phase and stays in the dead phase too long. So I lose big chunks of hair and it looks like I never had hair there before. The biggest chunk I probably lost is about this big on my head, and it's completely smooth and bald and you can't even see the hair follicle. Luckily each time my hair has grown back, it takes a couple of months and then you'll start seeing sprouts come up. Some people with alopecia never get their hair back and they'll lose hair on their entire body, including like their eyebrows, armpit hair, everywhere. So yeah, that's something that I haven't had an episode in a long time, but I've had it for quite a long time. I don't like reading books. I know how to read and I read fast, but I just get bored. Like I cannot finish a book if my life depended on it. I like to buy cereal, but I don't eat cereal. I think one of the reasons is because I'm lactose intolerant, but even before I was lactose intolerant, I'm not a really big cereal eater. But when I go to the grocery store, I always walk up and down the cereal aisle and I usually buy a couple of boxes, and I don't even eat cereal. I am super sensitive to smell, and you know how they say like when one sense lacks, another sense will be like super sensitive. So I feel like because my eyesight's so bad, my smell is like super sensitive. I am 33 years old. I have really strong hair and nails. Like my hair, I can bleach it and dye it and style it every day, and it's like horse hair. It's super coarse. Which is good for me because it keeps like curls and stuff a lot longer. And my nails, like my nail beds are really long, so even if my nails are short, they look long and they don't ever chip. But the bad thing about it is if they actually do break, they break like way down here and it like hurts so bad. I don't really like mayo. Spicy food makes my ears plug. I was one of the very first people to work for Lululemon. When I worked there, I was, how old was I? I was like 19 years old and I got hired as a designer. The other 2 girls who worked there were also designers, and one of them actually married the owner, and this is when the store was upstairs and there was just one location. So basically the store was also the studio and also a yoga studio. And now it's like all over the world. I used to never sweat. Even when I would work out or do anything, I'm not a sweater. And it's so funny because my armpits would never sweat. So I actually didn't start wearing deodorant until I got pregnant with my first baby, and once I got pregnant then I started sweating a little more, but before that I never needed deodorant or anything because I never sweated. I went to Africa and lived kind of in the bush for a while. I went on a mission trip and we taught kids preschool classes. We did all sorts of things, but I really love that kind of simple living. It's funny because a lot of times people say, oh, but you like makeup and you like this. I'm like, yeah, when it's available, but I can rough it. My husband was my very first boyfriend and I was his very first girlfriend. When I was in first grade, I legally changed my name. I had grown up with my grandma, so she always called me by my Korean name, which was Jeannie, and my first name was Yvonne, and that was my English name. And when I went into kindergarten, the teacher would call me Yvonne and I wouldn't respond because I didn't know that she was talking to me. So when I was in first grade, I got taken to get my name changed legally. So now my first name is Jeannie and I got to pick my middle name. For a little while, I got to teach Lamaze classes to pregnant teens. And I loved doing that and I would love to do that again. I can pinch harder with my toes than I can with my fingers. Part of my Korean schooling, most of the girls did fan dancing and stuff, but I learned Korean calligraphy. So I know how to do Korean calligraphy. I worked for about 8 months on a TV show as an extra called Breaker High, and one of the main characters was Ryan Gosling, but he did not look like the way he looks right now. This is what he looked like. But then again, I didn't look the way I look right now. I'm kind of an old lady and I can just people watch all day. Like I could probably go to Disneyland and just sit on a bench and sit there for hours and just watch people walk by. As soon as my last baby is old enough, maybe when he's like 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, I don't know, I really want to go to India. A friend of ours is building an orphanage there for little girls. They have an orphanage right now there for boys, but they're building one for girls, and I really want to go and just love on the kids. I would kind of want to take my oldest daughter too, just so she can see how it is, but I really want to go to India. I have really bad anxiety. It's a lot better and more under control than it used to be, but I had really bad anxiety, especially when I was in high school, and even now still, like if I get super anxious and super stressed out, my hands and feet will break out in hives, kind of like these big red bumps, and they're super itchy. And yeah, I kind of get that when I get stressed out. I used to work for Paramount Pictures. I made props. I was in charge of the handheld props, and so I worked on a couple of TV shows, and yeah. I used to be a carny. I worked at a fair / carnival, and I was one of the games people, so I was one of the people that would holler at you while you walk down, like, don't be shy, give it a try. That was me. And I did that actually for a couple of years, and it was one of my most fun jobs I've ever had. So anyways, I hope that helped you get to know me a little bit better. If you have a random facts about you video, please link it below. I would love to watch it. And I hope you guys are all doing well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.